Hello, everybody. It is time for Me-Powered with Rhonda. It is Tuesday, 6 p.m., so you know what time that is. It's time for the show. And this evening, I have got a show that I have a feeling is going to be epic. This one, I promise you, is going to go down in history, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Now, before we get started, I do want to go ahead and say this ahead of time. I'll put a disclaimer out. Tonight's show is going to be graphic. So if you got little kids around or anything like that, you may not want them to hear this show, because the show topic tonight is going to be from torture to triumph. And I can't wait to introduce my guest. But before we start that, let's let everybody know, if this is your first time listening or tuning into the show, Lady J, please tell them all the different ways that they can listen live.
If this is your first time tuning into the show or to JQLM Radio and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in, be sure to tell them to download the JQLM Radio app on their Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live to JQLM Radio 24/7, 365 via Amazon Alexa, TuneIn app, the Stream and Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms, of which you can find located on our website, where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com. Also, don't forget to follow, like, and share us. We do follow back. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JQLM Radio. You can also connect with Ego Entertainment Network at EgoEntNet. That's EgoEntNet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter also. Also, connect with us on LinkedIn at Ego Entertainment Network. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel, Ego TV Network, at youtube.com/Ego TV Network.
Okay, and there are several ways to follow me as well. You can follow me on Facebook at my personal page at Rhonda Thompson, also at Me-Powered, which is the show page. You can follow me as well on Instagram at me.powered, and everybody knows me as Rhonda T and ATL, so you can also follow us there. LinkedIn is also Rhonda L. Thompson. YouTube is Rhonda L. Thompson as well. And we've got a website that is in the makings right now, and it's going to be released soon. It's going to be called ME-POWERED.co. So make sure you are on the lookout for that. And trust me, I will definitely tell you when it's live and up and running. So make sure that you share and you follow and like and join us as well. All right, so this evening is my great honor to have this guest, because this guest is so near and dear to me in several ways. She was one of my very first students, I want to say 4 years ago now. And when she came to me through Total Breakthrough Center, I could not believe everything that she was dealing with. And she has triumphed through it. And I cannot believe that she is going to finally tell her story. I've been telling her for years she needs to tell her story, and it's finally time. So I would like for you guys to please welcome Brandy M. Johnson to the show.
Hi.
Hey, Brandy, how you doing? You look gorgeous.
I'm doing great, Rhonda. I am excited for tonight. This is going to be my total breakthrough.
Absolutely.
Final.
Absolutely. And the name of the show now is Me-Powered with Rhonda. And I don't know if you remember when we talked in class about empowered. If you take those first two letters and you turn it around to Me-Powered, because, you know, the theme of this show is that everything you need is already inside of you. And you are a shining example of that. So before we get going, I am so proud of you, Brandy. I'm so
Thank
proud of
you.
you. Just your
You
courage.
have no idea how much that means coming from you, especially since you're the reason in a lot of ways that I was able to find that voice.
Well, it's my pleasure. And, just the courage that you showed, your transparency, the growth that you showed, because I had you for 6 months. And tell everybody how we met because you had to pick me. So let everybody know. We'll
Yes.
just give a little bit of the background of how we met, how we came together, and then we'll get into your story.
So, unfortunately, people that deal with trauma eventually find themselves going through a little bit of trouble. And that was me. I found myself in a troubled time where I thought I was doing the right thing and it ended up being the wrong thing. And I was court ordered to do domestic violence classes. Because of having to do domestic violence classes, I started researching on the counselors that I would want to take my classes with. At first, I found a lot that were more about the money and more about the domestic violence part. But what a lot of people don't realize about domestic violence is when you are, whether you're the victim or the one doing the violence, a lot of times it comes from trauma. And
Yeah,
until you are able to break that trauma through, you can't actually fix the problem.
right.
Well, Rhonda here, when I talked to her during kind of my little interview, she told me, I will work on you before I work on the problem. Because the problem, 9 times out of 10, comes from something in your past that you're holding on to.
Mhm.
And that's why I decided to go to your classes because that spoke volumes to me.
Mhm. Well, I'm so glad. And you brought so much value to the classes, and I thank you for trusting me. And you were literally my second student because Precious was the first one. It was you and Precious for a minute, and then others joined and stuff. But you were literally my second person almost 5 years ago. And so I just thank you for your trust in me because you could have chosen anybody. And you impacted me so much. I learned just as much from you as you learned from me because we literally grew together in this. And some of the concepts that you did in class, I started doing with everybody else. So you were a key factor in the way everything is formatted now today. So thank
Oh,
you for
yeah,
that.
of
All
course.
right. So you came, and of course, we started our classes, and you were not happy to be there. You, you, like everybody, they're upset in the beginning, but a lot of people have a misconception. A lot of times, women get a domestic violence charge, and they're not the ones that are the offenders. They are actually the victims, and a lot of times, the person that has brought the charge on them is somebody that previously abused them and they had to serve family violence or go to jail or whatever. And it's a tactic, it's a way to get back at the girl for the things that they had to pay for. So most of the time when I get females in my classes, it's very few. It's literally like less than 1% of females that are the actual offenders. And they all have that in common. And that's how you came into the class. And
Yep,
so
absolutely.
let's start there. So when you first came into the class, you were you were broken. That's my best way to say it. I don't even think you were 100 pounds. You did not even physically look the same. You were just coming out of substance abuse and all kinds of other stuff. And so let everybody know, like, give everybody, and it took you a long time to trust me before you started opening up. And
Yeah.
and that was a big deal, and that was a
Hmm.
breakthrough in itself for you to trust me with what you trusted me with. So as much as you are comfortable, let people know, and we're not going to stay here, we're just going to highlight it. Okay, where did you come from when you came to the classes? What was your background?
So when I first walked into your class, I had dealt with abuse sexually and physically from 3 different men in
Hmm.
my life who I thought were supposed to be the man and not the abuser type of person. Those men included a stepfather,
Hmm.
a supposed to be boyfriend and a husband at the time who was also the father of my child. Um, and when I came to Rhonda's classes, I was actually still with my husband at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared. And she could tell that I was afraid to even leave her class to go
Mm-hmm.
home
Yeah.
because I was so damaged and so broken. Mentally, physically, and emotionally, I was broken in more ways than you could even think was possible. I actually came from a background where I was forced into a cage. I was
Mm-hmm.
forced to do things that I did not want to do, that I did not feel comfortable with, sexually and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told if I didn't, that my brains would be blown out.
Mm-hmm. And how
Um,
old were you? How old
and
were you when that happened?
the first time was at 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time that my stepdad did it, I was 12, almost 13. And when
Mm-hmm.
my ex-husband did it, I was in my early 20s with a baby on my hip.
Right. Um, and and like I said, I don't want to stay here long, but you literally, when you say you were in a cage, because I remember when you first said this, that was the first time I heard of anything, of anybody actually going through that. You literally were held in a cage when you were a child,
Hmm.
and you were abused from
It was a
within.
dog cage.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a dog cage, and I was abused from the outside of the cage inside. Of course, I was stuck inside. I was bounded down by my hands and my feet. Um, and he would use whatever he could find, shovels,
Mhm.
whips, chains, whatever he could throw at me, whatever he could hit me with. There were several times where it was even fire. It was torches. It was whatever he could get his hands on to hurt me physically because I wouldn't give in.
Mhm.
Because I started standing my ground and I thought, okay, well, maybe I should stand up for myself.
Yeah.
Well, that ended up me in a cage. And that
Mhm.
ended up with me feeling like not only physically was I on lockdown, but mentally, socially,
Mhm.
emotionally, I was on lockdown. I
Mhm.
couldn't cry about it. I
Mhm.
couldn't speak about it. If I ran and told anybody, my family was on the line. Not just me, but my little
Mhm.
brother, my mom, the rest of my family. And me being a big family oriented person, I felt like it was my duty to take the hit instead of my family.
Yeah. Yeah. And this continued for how long?
That continued for 3 years straight.
Yeah. So, how do you find the strength at 9 years old to endure that? What did you where did you have to go? Because like I know with me, certain abuse that I was dealing with, I did something which is called dissociated. I dissociated. I literally left because I had to create something to feel safe. How did you survive that? What kept you going? I mean, other than you didn't want your family to, what was it in you as a little girl that kept you going?
Um,
Marty is telling you you
there
got
was
this,
actually,
Brandy.
thank
Marty
you,
just put
Marty.
a comment up there. You got this.
Thank you. So there was actually two things that helped me during that time.
Hmm.
Um, the first thing was obviously my brother because me and my brother were best friends. We literally had each other's backs through thick and thin. And I knew as long as he was beside me, I
Hmm.
could make it through anything because he told me he does not make who you are. You are who you are for a reason.
Wow.
And you've got this. You've got something in you. And my brother's 5 years younger than me
Wow.
and was sitting there telling me, we've got this. We've got to make it through this. This can't be our life.
Hmm.
So I kept fighting for him. But
Hmm.
also, what a lot of people don't know about me, including my own grandma and my own mother who was there, my brother and I made a passageway from our house that we stayed in with my mom and my stepdad to the next door neighbors.
Okay.
And I would sneak through that passageway and they would talk. I'm a very religious person.
Hmm.
And I don't want to offend anybody who's not, but we would read the Bible and we would talk and pray and cry
Right.
because they were the only people I told what happened and they kept their mouth shut for the simple fact that I did not want to lose my brother.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's come out of there. Let's come out of there. And
Yeah.
you're doing an amazing job. You're being so brave. I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you, and everybody is supporting you right now. And this is literally your first time telling the story publicly like this. So I
Yeah.
want everybody to know and to understand how big this is. This is this
Yeah.
is tremendous courage here. This is tremendous trust right here. And so we're coming out of that. All right, we're coming out of that.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward. Let's fast forward past, the sexual abuse, the physical abuse. Let's go into, when did you become addicted to substances? When did that happen?
I was roughly about 15 years old.
Okay.
Um, After everything, because I left my stepdad's around 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I got bullied hard because I've always been a skinny girl and I've always been, quiet because of what I had endured.
Right.
I got bullied hard. I would get told that if I would just take my own life, that it would make everybody happier and it would make the world a better place because it would be one less problem in the world, is what they would say. Um, and so I started using hard at 15 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
drank a lot at 15. I went to parties, stayed up late. I lied to my grandparents about where I was going. I would say that I was spending the night with Megan or this person or that person, and really I was out somewhere else in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of 21-year-olds and 25-year-olds drinking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it got to the point where I was drinking probably 2, 3 handles of liquor a night,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that was big for me because I came from a family that didn't drink a whole lot, other
Right.
than my mom. My mom was the only alcoholic I knew, and my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
And to go through what I went through because of alcohol, and I went straight for the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how you responded, and and you had you had gone to harder things, which is a natural progression because of everything you dealt with. And I remember one of the things when you came to me, you you still wouldn't cry. You never cried until the end.
Mm-mm.
It took you a long time to cry, and you had that look about you. Because you were worried about your teeth, you were worried about your skin, and you didn't even look the same as you do now. You look so healthy right now, and you've gained some weight and everything. Um, that it was okay. Cody is saying, coming from someone who was also chained up, how you overcome this. So you've got people here. You're not the only one that has endured. Kadarius is saying, "Hey girl, it's a me and Mindy Lynette Glover. You got this, love. Your bestie is always here." So you've got lots of support coming. Prayers for you. Stay strong, stay uplifted, stay encouraged, stay positive, stay amazing. You got this, coming from Cody again. Thank you guys. And yeah, keep pouring in the love. I'm not going to keep reading all the comments, but keep putting them up because they're going to come up on screen and she's going to be able to see them. Keep pouring in the love, guys. Keep pouring in the support because this is major courage right here. This is major bravery. And
Yeah.
Brandy, you're going to save somebody's life tonight. And I don't want to I'm
Yeah.
already emotional.
Well,
You're going to
and like
literally,
you said,
yeah.
like you said
Mhm.
earlier, I'll dive into how I started with your classes, and then we'll go into how I built myself up because that will answer
Okay.
Cody's question a few
Okay.
times.
All right. Before we do that
When
real
I first,
fast, hold on one second. Before we do that
hmm
real quick, because I know that's going to take a second, let's get our first break out of the
yeah,
way because it's 6:19. And then we'll come back with that. Okay. So,
okay, sounds
Lady
good to
J's
me.
telling me to don't start crying. Okay. I'm going to pull it together. But, what we're going to do,
Woo!
we all need to breathe right now. We're going to take a second. We're going to have our commercials and our sponsors, and we're going to be right back. And if you have not shared this yet, share this right now. This show is saving somebody's life. We'll be right back.
Ego Entertainment Network's JQLM radio division is now accepting new radio hosts or syndicated radio shows and podcasts. Join a winning team with 46 60,000 to 70,000 listeners per month in 65 plus countries, all-inclusive packages, major podcast distribution, and major event opportunities, and more. Do not miss out on this opportunity. If you want to start your own show or have a show already and you would like to syndicate, contact Ego Entertainment now at egoentertainmentnet.com. That's egoentertainmentnet.com. Indianapolis, Indiana is hosting the first annual Re-Up Experience and Re-Up Awards. It's coming August 6, 2022 at the Spotlight Event Center, hosted by Florida's own hostess with the mostest, Caramel Lucas. The Re-Up Experience is an annual nationwide event that has 5 core focus areas: release, recoup, remind, remix, and repeat. It includes brunch, raffles, vendors, music, interactive panel discussion, networking mixer, bounce backology performance and presentation, re-up power circles, an award ceremony, red carpet, all-white after party, and more. Sponsorships are available, and vendor tables are available as well for only $40. Visit the website reupexperience.com. Again, that is reupexperience.com to download sponsorship details and to secure your sponsorship or vendor table. You can also contact reupexperience@gmail.com. And this year's theme, we all the way up.
Hey there. If you can hear my voice, this is Pamela, host of Hospitality, here to remind you that Ego Entertainment Network has a lot for your business. Listen, honey, you need to get with it. Ego Entertainment offers various services: media coverage, red carpet services, promo interviews on air. They offer meet and greet services, honey, not to mention other event services. You want to get in gear. Ego Entertainment is empowered greatness optimized. We're now booking and spots are going fast. Ego serves the United States and all event types, honey. So if you are opening a business, having a store opening, a restaurant opening, and you want some coverage, Ego Entertainment is the way to go. Call or text 317-886-0296 or go to egoentertainmentnet.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. And I would like to take a moment to let you guys know about my sponsor as well for this show. His name is Robert Delitis. He is the co-author of Kill the Craving. And Robert Delitis is the founder of ERP Therapy for Substance Abuse. He does corporate training, worldwide training, and he is available one-on-one to anybody, corporate or individual, that you need. What you will do to contact him is you can send him an email to roberpman@comcast.net and make sure you get his book, Kill the Craving, as well. And guys, my workbook is out. I released my workbook, and this is Whose Eyes Do You See Yourself Through? How to make sense of your life and see more clearly. And Brandy, there's a lot of exercises that we did in class in this workbook. It is an interactive workbook, and you can fill it in, and just like we did in class. If you would like your copy, you can contact me directly. The copies are $25. That includes shipping and handling. And you can just contact me, message me, a Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. I'll give you all the information. But my workbook is available, guys. All right. And we just mentioned the Re-Up Experience. I'm going to be one of the speakers at the Re-Up Experience, as is Rob as well, in August in Indianapolis. Brandy, that would be great for you to go to if you can get there, because it's going to be all about re-upping and refreshing and refilling and refueling. And I'll give you some information one-on-one about that. Okay. Maybe you can be one of my special guests. All right. So if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Brandy Johnson, and she is a former student of mine, and she came to me and for a domestic violence charge, which it wasn't hers. She had an ex put it on her, but in that time we discovered a lot of trauma that she was going through, and she opened up her story and she trusted me, and now she is helping other people. And this is the first time she's telling her story live. anywhere. So, Brandy, I don't want to. Yeah, we covered like highlights of the past, the heavy stuff. I don't want to stay on the heavy. I want to focus on how you got it up out of here, and where you are now. Because when you first came to class, I remember you wouldn't look up, you wouldn't speak loudly. You a lot of times you didn't answer me when I spoke to you. You were afraid to go anywhere. You were dressed to stuff up to here, and there was just so much. You were very, very timid, and then the transformation with you in 6 months was incredible. It was like nothing I ever seen. It was truly a transformation, like caterpillar to butterfly. You are the epitome of somebody taking control of their life, no matter how bad the circumstances are, owning up to it, facing it. And you made a decision because at the time you were married, and you weren't married by the time you were done. And that in itself was very courageous too. So let everybody know some of the things you did that were pivotal points for decisions that you made to start taking your life back into your own hands.
So the first choice honestly was coming to your class. When I came to your class, like you said, I was actually 78 pounds. I covered myself with hoodies even in the summertime, and pants and shoes and socks, and I did not show any skin. I did not smile. I always looked at the ground, or I would doodle on my notepad. The first big moment, if I remember, was when you told me to look as if I was speaking to my biological father, because that's where it really started.
Yeah.
And you told me, say exactly how you feel. And I looked at you crazy because I'm like, he's not there. I'm talking to a wall. And you're like, I don't care. Close your eyes and imagine him right in front of you and say how you feel. What you would say to him right now if he was standing right in this room. That was my biggest moment right there, because I think that was the first time I cried with you.
Yeah, that's actually called an empty chair exercise. It's a Gestalt exercise, which is a theory. And it is, you picture the person right there, because a lot of times we have so much held up that we want to say, but we can't say it if somebody is there. And the fact that they're not there gives you the courage to say it.
Yep. And like you said, I was married, but by the end of that 6 months that I was with your classes, I had decided to leave my husband at the time. And he was very abusive and everything as well, like I mentioned before. But what got me to that point was Rhonda told me one quote, and this quote has stayed with me throughout my entire time that I've known Rhonda. And it is, you are beautiful, you are brave, and you are you. And no one can take that from you except for you. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I went home that night that she told me that quote, and I started planning. The wheels started spinning, and I started planning. And I was like, I have to get out of here, or I'm not going to make it. I really felt that way. I really felt that if I stayed with my husband, even though we had children together, even though I was a stepmom to a little girl, even though there were so many things that were holding me there, I knew if I didn't break out of that I was eventually going to end up back in substance abuse. I was going to end up back at square one.
Yeah.
Under 100 pounds, not eating, refusing to take care of myself, refusing to be a woman.
Yeah.
Refusing to dress like a woman, to feel beautiful in my own skin.
Yeah.
And there's so many women, because of the things that men or women put us through, we don't feel beautiful.
Right.
And so it was big. And I appreciate all y'all's comments I'm seeing on my promise. But that was a big moment for me. I started packing my stuff, and whatever I could not grab, I left it. I said, you know what? I can buy new stuff later. I don't need it.
Yep.
And I started building myself. And let me tell you, at the end of Rhonda's class, I walked out of there weighing 122 pounds from 78 pounds. I actually wore a dress on that last day, I believe.
You did?
I dressed
Had your
girly and
three, you had your poster board, the three thing, and you had pictures of what you looked like the very first day, all the way through
yeah,
to what you looked like at 6 months, and it didn't even look like the same person. And you had put all the
no, it
quotes and all
didn't.
the special things that helped, and that was incredible what you did. And you
Yeah,
created a picture version of your journey throughout and
yeah,
the stages of development, into who we
yeah,
see today. So,
yeah. I mean, and today, like coming from your class, I even started growing even more.
mhm,
Um, I literally went from being somebody that felt like a nobody
mhm.
to feeling like somebody. And nowadays, I'm in college to be a surgical tech. I
Yes.
graduated in November.
Yep.
I am spending more time with my daughter than I ever
Mhm,
have before. I
mhm,
am teaching her a lot of the same things you put into me and that I learned from your class because she does have self esteem issues because she endured some of the stuff that I had to with my ex husband.
right.
Um, and I tell her every day, you are beautiful, you are
Mhm.
strong, and you've got this.
Yeah.
No matter what you put your mind to, you can do it.
Mhm.
And I now, I never used to wear shirts like this,
Yeah.
ever.
And you did
I used to
something.
never,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I used to never even like show my skin like at all. I used to hate shorts. I used to
Mhm.
hate bathing suits. I used to hate dresses. And I even started dyeing my hair, doing girly little things. And even though I can't get my nails done, I used
Mhm.
to do my nails
Yep.
back in the day.
Yep. And there's your beautiful daughter right there. She's so proud of you that she wants to be
Yep.
next to mommy. How you doing, baby girl?
Yeah.
Are you so
She
proud of
said, how you
mom?
doing?
And I
You're
gotta
in my earpiece, so she can't
Oh,
hear
okay.
you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, and you were able to start implementing the things that you were learning, and you did it faster than anybody I ever saw. There was like this day something just clicked with you and it turned on. Like you went
Yeah.
from doodling, not paying attention, to all of a sudden you came in taking color coded notes and just having all these notes and all this stuff and bringing all these worksheets and, hey Rhonda, can we use this in class? Hey Rhonda, I saw this, I think this will help some other people. And then by that time there was 5 or 6 women in the class, and you then became an advocate for them and you helped them
Yeah.
speak in the class. And I just sat back and I was like, wow. And I let you lead them because I was like, okay, Brandy has got this. And I remember you saying that you wanted to do something meaningful with your life. At that time, you thought about going back to school. Here you are ready to graduate. You didn't have the
Yeah.
relationship with your daughter. You didn't know how to approach her. And here you are now. She's right there by your side. And you guys are like
Yeah.
this now. And I'm just so happy to see the growth in you. And the thing is I may have given you some tools here and there, but Brandy, you're the one that did the work. You
Yeah.
are the one that dug in to that stuff and were brave enough to deal with it. And miracles happened. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
miracles happened. Boom, 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 boom. And you were, I mean, this may sound cliche, but like that song says, you literally were a girl on fire. I mean, there was one day you just turned and it was boom, no turning back
Yeah.
from
And
that point.
it's funny that when I look back on my own
Mhm.
progress and my own life story, a lot of people ask me when I talk about some of my stories, like little bits and pieces, they're like, how does somebody endure so much and actually make it through that? And I'm like, it's easy. It's going to sound like the hardest thing in the world, but you have to do one step first. First thing you ever have to do is you have to decide what's best for you.
Mhm.
You have to say, this is what I want in my life, not what this person wants or what that person wants or what my daughter wants. This is my life.
Mhm.
And I'm in control of my life and my person and my wants and needs.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
once you have that mindset, everything changes.
Yeah, it
And that's
does.
what changed for me in Rhonda's class was she told me, your mom, your
Mhm.
stepdad, your ex-husband do not control your future.
Mm-mm.
They are a bit of the past. So
Mm-hmm.
put them in the past where they belong and walk forward. And once she told me that, I think that's where I clicked and where the light bulb came on. And I was like, you know what? If I keep looking at the ground and I keep fighting this counselor who obviously is trying to help me, who's honestly not even being like a counselor, she's being more like somebody I can vent to, someone I can be honest with. You even said, if you got to cuss, cuss.
Mm-hmm.
If you got to say whatever you got to say it. If it will help you, say
Mm-hmm.
it. And once you told me that, that's what really came me was I was like, well, I can be as honest as I want about it.
Mm-hmm.
There don't have to be a filter. Most
Right.
times with a counselor, you have to have a filter, but with Rhonda, I didn't have to have that filter, and that's what helped push me
Mm-hmm.
into that path that I was able to take. And to be able to say that in a few months I graduate with honors,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
top of my class, a 3.7 GPA in the surgical tech program while working a full-time job and being a full-time mom.
That's
It's
amazing.
big.
That's huge. That's beyond big. That's
Yeah.
huge, huge, huge.
Yeah,
That's
and I
incredible.
mean, to be able to say I did it by myself with
Yep.
nobody helping me,
Yep.
because I brought myself
Yep.
here.
Yep.
My mom didn't help me get here.
Right.
My grandma didn't help me get here. I got here by myself. And
Yep.
if I can do it, as
Mm-hmm.
troubled as I was in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as I drank, and as much as I thought alcohol was the solution, anybody can do it as long as they take that step.
Right. And you did. Do you remember? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna test your memory. Okay. Do you remember the chocolate milk illustration? How you make? How
I
do you
don't know
make
if
a
I was
glass
there
of
for.
chocolate milk?
I don't know if I was there for that.
Okay. Um, well, it may come back because I had shared that I had asked everybody to explain how do you make a glass of chocolate milk with syrup, and they give their directions. You pour the milk, you pour the syrup, and then you got to stir it up, and you drink it, right? And I had asked the
Mm-hmm.
question, what happens if you leave that chocolate milk on the counter for a couple of like hours? Like what happens to it? It gets
It gets bold.
well, it gets spoiled, and then all the chocolate settles to the bottom, and it looks like it's regular white milk.
Mm-hmm.
But before you go to drink it, you got to stir it back up. And the thing is, the example of that, what that was, whether that was a class that you were there at or not, is that everything that you need to succeed and all your skills and all your talents were always there all along, even if they seem to be lying dormant for a period of time. Even that was before all the abuse,
Yeah.
before all the cage, before all the substance abuse, before all the excess, before all that. There was that girl, that chocolate milk girl, and at that time that all those things were happening, that was the dormant stage where everything fell to the bottom. But I tell you what, when you clicked on that, stir it back up, and boom, now you're chocolate milk all over again. And you're full
Yep.
of flavor and rich and just wonderful. And that's where you are right now. And you're just flourishing in it. And I'm just, like I said, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I want to share about you is it's a big deal for you to be showing your shoulders. That is a huge deal for you to be showing your legs.
Yeah.
And you even did something, which I was so proud of you. Tell them about a little photography session you had.
All right. Do you want, because we're about to have our next break, I believe?
Yeah. Well, just generally, what kind of photography session did you get the courage to have one day? And you did it just for you.
So yes, I did a photography session of Bador. For those who may not understand what Bador is, it's classy, sexy photos where you are strictly in lingerie, or you could be in nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
you, for the first or 500th time in your life, you feel sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I used to never, I said, I could never do that. I
Yeah.
can't show my body off. Nope, it ain't for me. But let me tell you, I have now done
Shut up.
sessions,
Wow. 7? Okay.
7 door sessions, and it it gets hotter by the moment. Like each
Okay.
time I feel like a whole new person.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And it's just the essence of, and so I don't want anybody to take this out of context. It's not about trying to, it's, it's not like a centerfold or anything, but it's about accepting and celebrating your body and seeing the beauty in it. And everything you did was tasteful and it was gorgeous. It was like exquisite, the
Thank
pictures that
you.
you took. And like I said, it's not centerfold stuff. Get that out of your mind, people. It's not that type.
Right.
Boudoir is like, what's that song? What's that dance that they do? I can't think of it. Christina Aguilera and Cher. What's the name of that movie that they did? It's a type
I
of
can't
dance.
remember.
It's
But
right
I
on
do
it's right on the tip of my tongue.
the
Go ahead.
way I've always is it's more like your 1950s pinup,
Yeah.
where it wasn't about the sex appeal. It was more
Mhm.
about the classiness, but
Yeah.
also look at Marilyn Monroe, for instance. My
Mhm.
favorite example of this. Marilyn Monroe was a big girl, and a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, nobody would ever look at you because you're a big girl."
Mhm.
She rocked it.
Oh, she
She
did.
rocked it, and that Marilyn did a lot of what you would see in Boudoir today.
Mhm.
A lot of what you would see in Boudoir.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so for you to do that and come full circle is incredible in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're going to take our second break, and we'll be right back and
Yep.
wrap up and see what you're doing now and where you've come from and how everybody can get in touch with you. We're talking to Brandy M. Johnson from Torture to Triumph. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's your girl, Lady J, and this is a special public service announcement. The Gallery Event Center of Indianapolis, Indiana is now an official partner. If you are a client of mine and you are in need of a venue to book your next event, then book with the Gallery Event Center today, who offers all-inclusive packages at extremely affordable prices. But wait, there's more. You are able to book custom all-inclusive packages that have been tailored exclusively for Lady J's clients. And yes, that includes the Ego Entertainment Network clients too. Connect with me today at ladyj.co to receive your promo code and visit the Gallery Event Center located at 5852 East 82nd Street or call 317-534-6399 and visit their website at thegalleryeventcenter.com. This has been a special public service announcement by Lady J. Love y'all. Deuces. Have you subscribed yet to the free bi-monthly digital interactive Ego magazine? No? Well, head on over to www.egoentertainmentnet.com to subscribe now. This magazine is all about supporting and showcasing excellence in communities everywhere, from music, arts and culture, relationships, education, politics, celebrities, food, and so much more. While you're flipping through the pages, just click on the buttons and social icons and you'll be taken to a whole other world behind the articles and ads. At Ego Entertainment, everyone is a star. There is something in it for everyone. And we hope you are positively impacted by what you see and will continue to support Ego Magazine. Track CBPD by Arulo. If you're tired of hearing the same music and content every 5, 10, or 15 minutes on air, then check out JQLM Radio for the realest, rawest, and most relevant variety of music, talk shows, and more. Start your days with a little bit of gospel and gospel rap from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All of my life, I've never known you to fail. You deliver me. 'Cause all I seem to do is coming and breaking it down with that wicked style, man. We really been living it out, don't miss it.
Then get into some hot R&B.
Say baby, what you doing? Excited.
Some hip hop.
Falling in deep with the quicksand. Flag on my hand, oh quick run.
A little bit of pop
Watermelon sugar, strawberries.
and some neo soul for the rest of the day. JQLM Radio, real, raw, and relevant.
Holds my hand.
All right, we are back. We are talking to Brandy M. Johnson, and she is sharing her wonderful story from torture to triumph. And we are in the triumph. We've been in the triumph stage for the last few minutes, several minutes. And I found out the name of that movie. I looked it up because it was on the tip of my tongue. I hate when that happens. You got it. There you go. I was literally just going to say that, Cody. Burlesque. That's the name of the movie. Thank you so much, Cody. But
Yes.
Burlesque. It's that wonderful, sexy, glamorous, feminine, embracing your femininity and the power of being a woman. And that's the type of pictures that you did. And it's very empowering. So, kudos to you for that. And I want to let everybody know you've also started something that was another huge step out of faith for you is you created. And I remember you talking about it in class. You said you were going to do it and you did it. You created your own Facebook group. So tell everybody what that is and how they can join that.
I actually do have to redo it only because of the new Facebook thing, because my old Facebook got hacked. But the Facebook group that I made is basically a place where people can go to lean on each other. They can find other people that may have similar stories, very similar to theirs, and have that friend. Because a lot of us in this world, and I was one of those, we think we're alone in the situation that we're currently in. And by having that person that we can meet up for coffee and they understand where we've been and how we had to come out of it, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because before I had Rhonda's class, let me tell all of y'all, I thought I was alone. But little did I know there was 2 other people in particular in that class that had abusive husbands, abusive baby daddies, abusive lifestyles that were just like me.
Yeah.
But I stood there and I was like, I could understand it. But then I learned very quickly, a lot of people, and it's just a lot of people are too afraid to speak on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you now have become that voice for other people. And I remember telling you, and you couldn't see it then, but I said, Brandy, I'm telling you, you're going to get on the other side of this. And when you do, you're going to help other people. But before we can do that, we got to make sure you're good and you're okay. And, do that work with you first. And you couldn't even conceive of it before. And now you text me all the time, Rhonda, guess what I'm doing now? Rhonda, I'm doing this. And that's what I'm saying. It's so amazing to see you flourish. And, I have the honor of being like my friend Lauren Harris says, and he's watching too. He often says, you pay attention to those people that are on the front row seats of your life. And I have the honor of being on the front row seat of your life. And it's my honor to watch you come into who you were created to be. And I get to see that. And that just means the world to me, that you give me that access and that you trust me to be a front row person in your life, because that doesn't come easy. And, I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for our relationship and in every place that we've come from. And I'm so amazed. You're just starting. You're literally just starting. And more is going to continue to open up for you. And you're just gonna kick the door down with your heels and keep on moving.
Right. And like I told you, I'm actually in the process of writing a actual detailed story about me.
Yeah.
About where I came from, about all the things I actually did endure in detail, more detail than you're going to get with this broadcast right here, and how I worked on me. Yeah. And it's not just a story about me. It's also going to be, in a lot of ways, a workbook like Rhonda made herself, where you can write notes and you can write little things that stood out to you on my story that may help you down the road with your own. Because It took me to speak about my stepdad alone.
Yeah.
It took me 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years to talk to one person about it. And once I spoke about it, it literally felt like
Mm-hmm.
20 million pounds just rolled off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest feeling in the world. It was like I lifted my shoulders up and I was like, I don't feel stressed anymore.
Right.
I feel free.
Yeah. And that's a trick of trauma, and I wanted to feature your story, especially this month, because June is National PTSD Awareness Month. And, those things, we are always coerced into staying silent. And the way perpetrators and abusers do that is they use people that we love. You loved your brother. In my situation, I loved my sister. And the person who was hurting me said that they would hurt my sister if I didn't do something. And so that's how they get you. They keep you contained when they take advantage of the love you have for somebody else. And you would rather put yourself on the line, and you were the older sister, I was the older sister. And that's how abusers and people that torture do. And and it's really hard to understand just the complexity of that. It's beyond the scope of this show. And we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 and a part 3 to this show, because it's so many layers to your story, Brandy. And I know
Yeah.
we only got about like 8 minutes left, but I want to make sure that everybody knows how to reach you, and keep up with you. So give everybody your social media contacts. Like, how do they reach you?
Um, so the biggest one for me right now is TikTok. That's
Okay.
where I really uplift a lot of people. I try to be the
Mhm,
goofy person that
mhm,
can just put a smile on someone's face. So
mhm.
my TikTok name is actually that Georgia Peach. That's going to be THATGAPEACH underscore Mama MAMA the number 8. So it's that Georgia Peach underscore Mama 8 on TikTok. And I do have a Snapchat as well. It's Faith Mama 9311. That's Faith FAITHMAMA 9311. Those are my biggest two that I stay on, and I really post a lot about where I've come from and how strong
Mhm.
you really can be. I like to uplift people, like I said, because of the fact that a lot of people are so afraid to even mention a chip of their story.
Yeah.
But I just told you a whole hour worth of mine.
Mhm.
And it does take progress, it does take time. But once you find that courage, don't hold it back anymore. Break
Yeah.
those walls and
Mhm.
put it behind you, because the minute you're no longer bottling it up is the minute you actually feel like a human being again.
Yeah. And one of the things I used to always tell you, well, I tell everybody in my class is that story that you don't want to tell because it will cost you
Mm-hmm.
relatives, friends, and everything, and your reputation, embarrassment. That's the
Yeah.
story that needs to be told, because that's the story that will save somebody's life. And that's what you're doing, Brandy.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
again, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so honored that we are connected, and I'm and for everything that you're doing. And I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
comments to people saying that they're dealing with the same thing, or they've come from similar things. And I do want to do definitely a part 2 with you. And on the next one, we can maybe bring on people with questions, because everyone has put up comments to support, but we can do an interactive thing, or we can have more than one guest, and we can do like a round table or something. But there's several people
Okay.
that need to speak about their story. And if you have a story
Yeah.
that you want to get out, contact me. Send me an email, me-powered with Rhonda at gmail.com, and I will get your story up here. Or if you're not ready to tell your story, I will work with you just like I did with Brandy for as long as it takes, until you can get the courage, just like she is, to not just tell your story, but to accept your story, and to accept where you come from, and begin the healing journey, because that's what matters. It's not about your story. It's not about ratings. It's not about any of that. It's about healing and getting, like I told you, we'll get to you helping other people first, but you are my priority. You are my assignment. Your heart is the one that matters to me. And so,
Yeah.
if there's somebody out there that needs to tell their story, just needs to work through things, man, please contact me. And you can contact me directly too. My number is 470-557-0515. My company is Total Breakthrough Center. That is how Brandy found me, is through Total Breakthrough Center. And I'm now able to do things virtually around the world. You don't even have to come into the office anymore. I have clients all over the world. So, definitely reach out. So Brandy,
And
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, you're good. And that's another thing too is when people ask me, well, who helped you get on your feet? Who helped you give that push? I give them your contact information and I'm like, look, she will work with you. She understands people deal with stuff. Sometimes people are scared. If you have to hide behind a phone, she will work with you. I said, because she eventually is supposed to work with my daughter. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and if I trust my daughter with her, obviously I trust her with my life because my daughter is my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're gonna make that connection when it's time. It'll be time, and I appreciate that. Now we got about 3 minutes left. I want to give you about a minute. Speak to that person, Brandy, that's in the middle of something right where they are right now. They feel like they can't go on where you used to be, and they're contemplating taking their life and feeling like they can't go forward. Talk to them for the next minute. What would you say to them?
Um, this is going to give you a blast from the past. But even if you're a guy, this can go either way. But there was one quote that stood out to me the most in Rhonda's class that still helps me to this day. Beautiful girl, you are enough.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think you're enough, stand tall, straighten your crown, and walk out the door and find your place where you are enough. Whether it's at Total Breakthrough with Rhonda, or whether it's at Walmart with a complete stranger, or even over coffee by yourself. Walk out of the door that is bothering you so much and find yourself again. And if you can't, contact someone like Rhonda or me or anybody who you feel like you could talk to and connect with and just vent.
Mm-hmm.
You would be surprised at how much that really goes.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's wonderful. Thank you, Brandy, so much for coming on tonight, sharing your story, and
Yeah.
all the visitors and the people that are tuning in and chiming in. Man, thank y'all so much, because this has been one of the
Yes,
most
thank y'all.
interactive shows with comments and that we've ever had. And this show will be available up on all the podcasts like iHeartRadio and stuff. And so you'll permanently have it if you missed the live or if you're catching this just at a little bit. So don't worry, you can catch it on every major podcast. You can catch it on iHeartRadio. What you're going to do is you're going to search for Me Powered with Rhonda and just go down the episodes. And this one is titled, the title of it is From Torture to Triumph, featuring the amazing story and the triumphant journey thus far of Brandy M. Johnson. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for trusting. And guys, share this with somebody today. I promise you, this is going to save
Yes.
somebody's life. Now, and I will say this too, if you are contemplating suicide, the National Suicide Hotline has got a new phone number. It's simply 988. You don't have to remember a long number anymore. So if you're contemplating suicide or you feel like giving up, dial 988 and begin the journey of healing. You've been watching Me Powered with Rhonda. My guest tonight has been Brandy M. Johnson. And remember, everything you need is already inside of you. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing night.